And then also what I'm trying to be more intentional with is even also like a deposit within like my mentors and stuff like that. People that are continuing to invest in me, like how can I provide value to them in some way to just continue to nurture that relationship.
That's one of the biggest things that I think that he kind of instilled a lot of pillars in me, and that was faith, family, fitness, finances. Once you fill all those cups, then you have your fun, right? And that ultimately leads to some sort of fulfillment. But I think kind of carrying that torch forward is the number one thing is building relationships.
Yeah.
And you can speak on it too, bro. It's like your relationships. I feel like relationship equity is the mentors. People are there already doing what you want to do. So it's about emulating success. It's the fastest way to accelerate your growth is from emulating mentors. You guys, episode 1, segment 1. Obviously, you guys already see the great stories, and I think those stories are very important because it kind of provides insight of like people listening. Like they might not be there, they might not be in that relationship, but like if you see the light, that's all you really need, because all you need is hope to instill a vision. And in segment 2, now we're talking about what separates you from the rest. And Matt and Nora are going to dive into that a little bit now, roles and responsibilities. So for you guys, I guess I'm very curious myself. How do you guys balance work and life and relationship in life and keep it not just work or not just fun and games?
Yeah, I would say that it's a process. You know what I mean? It's like a balancing act. You have like 6 plates, you know what I mean? Different things, and you feel like one's about to fall, so you just give it a little bit more attention, and then you balance out in this different direction. And I would say it's just really like time stamping things, for us. Like I know, like I would say like we call like the love bank, you know what I mean? Like you have to make deposits, and so I have like deposits that I know that I need to make into my wife, I need to make into my daughter, I need to make into my business, to my ministry and everything else. And I can't have expectations from those other areas if I'm not investing into it.
I like that, the love bank.
Yeah.
Well, you said love bank, right?
Yeah, like love bank.
Each one needs a deposit.
I gotta show a little love to each one. And so I have to make sure I have everything that I'm depositing love, so then that everything flows well together. And I know, and I've seen from experience, when I'm not making those deposits, but I have expectations, if I'm not making deposits to my wife and showing her that I love her, spending time with her, but then I expect her to clean the house or make dinner and stuff like that, like it ain't gonna fly. You know what I mean? I can't have expectations if I'm not making deposits.
That's great. So I'm curious, how many banks do you have? And then how do you know, like how many, how many pillars and banks do you have that, like your wife, your business? What do you know?
So I would say it's my wife, my daughter, second daughter to Trump. So there's another bank I'm gonna have to open.
Congratulations. Congratulations. I didn't know if we were allowed to talk about that yet. So I was like, I didn't want to bring it up.
Yeah. So that, obviously the business is another one. And I would say also ministry, my church and my ministry and what I do. And then also what I'm trying to be more intentional with is even also like a deposit within like my mentors and stuff like that. Oh, wow. People that are continuing to invest in me, like how can I provide value to them in some way to just continue to nurture that relationship? Because as I'm growing, business is growing, like you have different problems, you have different questions, and so you need people that have been there, and so just making all those deposits. So like six.
That's 6, yeah. That's pretty strong that you included the last one. That's something I learned from Pablo recently, is that he does, I mean, you can speak on it too, bro. It's like your relationships. I feel like your relationship equity is important. Because the mentors, people are there already doing what you want to do. So it's about emulating success.
Yeah.
That's the fastest way to accelerate your growth, is from emulating mentors. And Pablo, I know you do that well, bro. So
yeah, I mean, that's one of the biggest things that I think that, Sam, you remember Sam really just, he kind of instilled a lot of pillars in me, and that was faith, family, fitness, finances. Once you fill all those cups, then you have your fun, right? And that ultimately leads to some sort of a fulfillment. But I think kind of carrying that torch forward is the number one thing is building relationships.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not about, the cars that I have or the business that I have or how many agents I have, but it's about how many relationships do I have, right? Mm-hmm. Can I go build relationship with Nor and Matt and Armando and Angel? Like, it's about, because you never know when you're going to have to be, maybe I'll be in your guys' position maybe sometime this year or next year, and it's going to be like, yo, Matt, bro, what was it like? Like, how did you pop the question, bro? Like, or hey, there's a baby come, or their marriage come, or I want to go into business with Gabby. Like, who know? You never know, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And when you're able to have true relationship with people that have wisdom in certain areas,
That's true.
I mean, now it's just like, yo, I could just pick up the phone and be like, yo, boom.
Yeah.
You know, and transitioning to the business side of things, I think like you're a master of your craft. And what I mean by that, what I've really studied, even working with you as well, is that like you truly like to kind of be a little bit, not necessarily, I don't want to say better, correct me if I'm wrong, but like you separate yourself very, very uniquely, where when people see your work, it's like, oh, that's savvy work. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You have kind of like a trademark, right? The savvy way. Talk about like that cut above.
Yeah, so I think that even comes down to the name Savvy Media. Like, what does savvy mean? It means like knowledgeable, with understanding, and kind of like technical with it. And so that's even when I came up with that name Savvy Media. A lot of people thought it was because of my last name Saavedra, like a shortening of that.
That's what I thought.
But yeah, a lot of people do. A lot of people do. But no, like Savvy is that, because there's a lot of people that can create cool looking videos, but that's not going to guarantee results for their clients, you know? And that's something, it was trial and error. That's when I started. Like, you know, I went to the school for video production. I was working for a production company. I was making cool videos, but I was like a lot of one-off projects, and it's like people weren't retaining me as a vendor, or like as a contractor for them, because like, you know, the video was great, but I didn't see no return on that. And so I was like, okay, well then I need to make some adjustments. So that's when I went into like investing in myself, starting with like YouTube University. And then as I started growing, spending, you know, multiple 5 figures on coaching programs for marketing, for video marketing and sales, even the psychology of it. And so as I started making those investments in myself, I put myself in a position where I can almost guarantee results, or how things are going to go for my clients.
Again, the deposits.
Yeah, deposits.
You were making the deposits, planting the seed, and now reaping the harvest.
Yeah, no, totally. And even like not just in myself, but even like for Nora, who going into like roles of responsibility. So like I handle majority of the company. She helps with like, you know, invoicing, client relation and stuff like that, but also with like strategy. So there came a time where like, if she's like a TikToker, so she has like a few viral videos, she has brand deals. I don't have any brand deals. She worked with like L'Oreal recently. They paid her like $1,500 for one video.
No way.
Yeah.
Talk about Nor. Can you talk about that a little bit? Maybe someone that I know Armando has like ambitions of wanting to go viral on TikTok. Right, I think I do too.
Yeah. We all do.
I'm trying to land a deal with Michael Kors. You know.
I see more Calvin Klein, but it's just me, bro.
Thank you.
All right, let's talk about that a little bit.
So I just think like TikTok's so different than Instagram specifically. Like TikTok is a lot more relatable. You need to be, honestly, it like weeds out inauthenticity. So like you need to be authentic to be on TikTok. Like some podcast videos do well, but it's usually like the big podcasters like Jay Shetty and like, you know, like things like that. Right. But yeah, exactly. They're extremely vulnerable, and people just want, and specifically, you know, TikTok's driven by Gen Z, you know, and Gen Z wants like, give me something real, like, you know, and so that was a big thing for me, is like, especially the season that I was in, that actually kind of helped me go into like the Better Pod and like everything else, because like I felt like I was like trying to find myself all over again. This is like post motherhood, becoming a mom, doing it, you know, feeling like I wasn't working anymore. I was just my daughter. Like, okay, what do I have for me? Like, I need something for me, you know? And the thing is, it's a long game, you know? It really is a long game. Like, because like when I was thick in it, I wasn't getting anything, you know? Like, there wasn't people, I was trying to reach out, you know, kind of pitch here and there. And, but really it came down to consistency. And so the more I was out there, the more I was putting myself out there, and the support that I got, and just, you know, going back to building relationships, that's huge on TikTok too. Like responding to people, even responding within your niche, you know, like with different accounts and stuff like that. All of those things contributed to then me not even looking for it, but people emailing, looking for me to make videos.
Now, curious on, you mentioned one specific word, you know, niche. Mm-hmm. So for what would be your niche? And then how did you, once you identify that niche, kind of like really maximize the opportunity of using your niche and being the one go-to?
So for me, identifying my niche was it is definitely the hardest, right? Yeah. Like putting yourself in a box per se is not easy to do, but it comes down to what can you talk about at any given point? You know, what can you talk about without being tired? You know, without being tired, what can come up over and over again and you still have passion for it?
That's true.
And so for me at that moment in time, it was motherhood. Like that's all I wanted to really talk about. That was the thick of what I was in. Yeah. So that was it. I definitely broadened it a little bit more just because also mental health was a big thing in my life, Christianity, things like that. So it was just part of who I was. So that was how I felt like were the key ways for me to identify.
You mentioned the box. Like it is difficult to put ourselves in a box because we're like, well, I do this. I work out here. I do this.
Yeah.
But when you're in a box, is it possible to go to another box in the future?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. You're never, 100%. Like you're never, and I think that's the best thing about social media is like, especially look at people of how, like they've started in a certain niche, right? They've started in a certain niche where like they're only doing, like mukbang videos or like, you know, they're only doing stuff like that. But now all of a sudden they're doing get ready with me's, they're doing all these other things. And now people like they've been drawn in, like once you have that audience, you're able to expand and be whoever you truly are and be true to who you are.
And that's where like the personal brand comes in.
Yeah.
And that's like the biggest thing within 2024 outside of like niches is just like who you are as an individual. Like that's your niche. Because there are going to be people that relate to the different aspects of your life. You know what I mean? Like my following, there's people that are young content creators that want to start, you know, their own business. There's a lot of faith-based people, a lot of people within my ministry, a lot of people within my church. And so that's like my audience. So then I cater to those people. So even like yesterday, I dropped a video on like some new camera equipment. So I'm trying to cater to a new audience where it's like entrepreneurs that want to work with me, but maybe like it just hasn't worked out. You know, it's not timing for them budget wise. But also I thought like, how can I continue to provide value? Well, I was like, okay, if you can't hire me to do it for you, like let me show you how to do it yourself until you're a point where you can where I can, you know, work with you. And so it's like just continuing to add like pillars of content. So before it was like kind of my sales process and my marketing strategy that would put content out. Then I started putting more content about my faith and like my mindset and life experience because we've been through a lot in our life in 30 years. And then now it's like, okay, like how to create content and stuff like that. So as you evolve as an individual and as your audience grows, you can start adding those pillars.
Wow. I love that you guys continue to just talk about the dynamic, right? The dynamic and providing value. What I'm really starting to see a lot that I didn't know is like, how completely open you guys are to just giving, just continue to give value. Now, Savvy Media. Yeah. I want to talk a little bit about Savvy Media.
Okay.
Savvy Media is a content creator's really kind of like full package, right? Talk a little bit about like what you offer with Savvy Media. And again, I really want to dive back into like the differences and different types of like packages and like, you know, the company as a whole and how it kind of came about.
Got you. So so how the company came about, obviously I started with content creation, saw that I wasn't retaining clients and I wanted to go more towards retainers, especially like, I think also what kind of made it a little different for me was, you know, as I started my company, we're also getting married. So it wasn't like, you know, some content creators, they're younger, they're still living with their parents, they don't have a lot of responsibility, so they can work what they want. Me, I had to provide. You know what I mean? Like I had to make sure our house was paid for, I had to make sure our bills were taken care of and we were good. So I couldn't afford to like just do what I wanted. And so as it evolved, now the main offer that we have is like a full-on marketing package where we're doing 16 to 20 short form content for long form videos, which will kind of, it's like a funnel. So the top of the funnel is the short form content, which gets you, you provide value and it exposes you to an audience. Videos that do well, we boost them to get shown to more of an audience. And from there, we funnel them to the second part, which is the long form training, which is like the nurturing process. So I talked about my sales strategy. I'll talk about this on my short form video, exactly how I do things. And then I'll be like, okay, comment the word, strategy, and I'll send you a free training, which is a long form video on how I do my marketing strategy. So I'll do that. So from there, it goes into the DM. If they want access to the video, they have to put their name and their email. And from there, they get to watch the video, and it opens up the door for them to work with me as a client, which brings them to the bottom of the funnel. And, say they're still not ready, or they learn some things that they want to implement, then they just go back to the top of the funnel, because we continue to put out videos, we continue to create trainings, and we just kind of rinse and repeat, put people into the funnel until they're ready to buy. And that's like for me, but also it is for any of my clients, whatever their coaching program is, whatever their offer is, or anything like that. We create the short form around it. We create long form around the different pillars of it. And then we create all the automations on the back end, all the follow-up. We run the ads until we get them results. So we have like a guarantee, obviously like it'll come after we have like initial meetings with potential clients. But if I feel they're the right fit in the niche, we put a guarantee that within the next 100 days, you'll make back your entire investment with us, or we'll work for you for free until we do.
That's a strong offer. That's a strong offer, man. This is obviously you guys are already listening right now. You can tell Matt's just not anything for free. Obviously, this couple here, like, we're truly blessed to even be here with you guys, especially on Valentine's Day weekend or week. But that was an amazing sales offer, because you could tell you're just not, like you said, you're just not the regular, 21-year-old kid who's like doing Adobe like at his mom's house, right?
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, there's something that there's like, to work with the professionals, you got to hire the professionals, right? To work like and get professional results, you got to work with the professionals. So I think that's something that's really, really big. And we're going to dive into more value. Obviously, tomorrow's Valentine's Day. Armando's about to go on his Valentine's Day date. And who knows, ladies, he might release who his Valentine's is. So check in on tomorrow's episode. It's dropping 6 a.m. tomorrow. Make sure you like, subscribe, send this video to somebody, and we're going to dive into some love. Now, the episode that we're going to be talking about, the next segment, conflict creates closeness. All right. Conflict creates closeness. What challenges have we gone through in business and in life that have actually brought us closer together? Tap into tomorrow's episode. We'll see you guys then.